Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we are at one of my favorite hangouts in the beautiful city of Hoboken. And of course, that is the Shepherd and the Knucklehead Bar and Restaurant located at 1313 Willow Avenue. And of course, joining me to make her debut here at the Shep, if I'm not mistaken, is our Places Insider, Jenna Piemonte of At the Hungry Traveler. Welcome to the Shep.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. Never been here before.
Exactly. So as you can see, we have comfort food in front of us.
Yes.
And I am a huge fan of comfort food and bar food and so on and so forth. Are you?
I am, for sure. I mean, you can't go wrong with anything buffalo flavored, especially when you're at a bar. I mean, it's just the go-to for me. Buffalo chicken wrap, buffalo spring rolls that I'm so excited to try, and buffalo wings, of course.
Yeah. Oh, man. She's just like, the Buffalo trifecta.
I'm a Buffalo girl.
Apparently so, I just visited Buffalo back in December, and I had the wings up there. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, it was good, but not like,
Interesting.
Like maybe I didn't go to the right place.
Yeah, I want to go. I want to try it out. I feel like if you're like a Buffalo aficionado, you have to try it.
Exactly.
Over there at least.
Exactly. Well, look, we have three amazing dishes in front of us. Mm-hmm. Why don't we begin with, of course, the dish closer to you? And it looks so cute, Jenna.
I know. I was going to say it's in such a cute little cup. So we have macaroni and cheese with jalapenos and bacon. So excited. I love a little jalapeno touch.
Oh my God. So I'll let you scoop in and the bells are ringing here, folks. But anyway, we are, and this is what I love about the Shepherd and Knucklehead. I mean, that's a cup, believe it or not. You can get it in a bowl as well. And it looks like it's the little elbow macaronis, right?
I love it. Make it a little piece.
And you can just get that plain, or, because I've had them all, or just with jalapenos, or just with bacon, or just do a complete mixture like they did for us. Oh, look at that scoopage. The macaroni and cheese with jalapenos and bacon.
Yum. I believe it's pickled jalapenos on there.
Mm-hmm.
So good. So you're getting that little bit of acid along with the heat. I got a whole piece of bacon in my mouth. So many good flavors happening.
And what about the cheese from the mac and cheese? Is it,
the cheese is good.
Let me know if you agree with this or not. Sometimes you get mac and cheese and it's just like smothered. And it kind of almost tastes pasty in your mouth, right? That looks like it's cooked to perfection.
No, this is cooked to perfection. The cheese is smooth. It's melty. Everything about it is really good. It's not too cheesy. Like, when it gets too cheesy and then it's like sticky almost too.
Like pasty, right?
Yeah. Not like that at all. Really good.
Exactly. All right. You know what I'm going to say. Jenna Piemonte of I screwed that up. Jenna Piemonte of At the Hungry Traveler. What do you give the mac and cheese with jalapeno and bacon?
I'm going to go 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
I also forgot to mention this crispy crust that's happening here.
Oh my God, you're
so good
about that.
So good, which is also what, brings my rating up pretty high. Because you know me, I'm a tough one.
I know you.
So 9 is a big deal.
It is.
This crust?
And look, the last 2 weeks after having all that fabulous Italian food, this is a little bit of a change of pace.
I know, I love the change.
Exactly. All right. I'm going to move over the next dish, and I know our resident political analyst, Sotomayor Einstein, is just waiting for this dish to be left over. So my test to you rather is you need to finish the whole thing so he doesn't get.
Oh yeah, let's see how many I can eat in this segment.
Exactly. Amen to that. What do you have here?
So we have some kielbasa. It looks really good. It's got a nice glaze on it. There's some crushed red peppers.
And I'm being told that's honey.
Honey
kielbasa, and it looks like it's with a little bit of honey mustard as well.
Yeah.
And then of course they give you the cute little bread next to it.
Bread to dip it. Well, we have to try it on its own to make sure.
Absolutely. You know what? I'm even going to try it because the less Josh gets, the better. Let's see. Very, very.
I love that honey on there.
Wow, that is terrific.
Really good.
But it's like crispy.
It is crispy. It's really well cooked. It's like a little well done, but like that's the way you want it. You want it to have that little bit. Ooh,
don't worry
dropped
about
it.
Yeah.
But you want it to have that little bit to it of like crunch and texture that you get from it being a little bit well done.
Exactly, because if it's not cooked well, then it's going to be like very, very mushy, and you want that little crunch. But then once you crunch into it, it's almost like that softness. Oh, I like the way you got the bread there.
Oh yeah, well you had to try what it's offered as.
Totally.
So good.
Yeah. All right. Out of 10, Jenna Piemonte, what do you rank the spicy kielbasa here at the Shepherd and Knucklehead?
I'm going to go 9.5 because I think that I could just like literally sit here and eat this entire plate.
Oh my God. Well, look, go ahead. We got a few minutes
Josh.
left. he's yelling at us from
No,
behind
he'd
the
be
camera.
so mad.
Exactly.
He'll never have me back.
Exactly. Okay.
He'd be like, that girl, no.
So you started this segment off talking about buffalo. And this is a staple here at the Shep and Knucklehead. They're actually known for their spring rolls. And what type of spring roll is this?
We have buffalo chicken spring rolls. I'm so excited. This outer layer of the wonton wrapper looks so crunchy. I cannot wait.
Oh my God, I'll let you dig
so
in
excited.
there. But this is what I love about this bar because, you know, they do a lot of dishes that are, you know, typical that you see in bars and so on and so forth. You know, like the mac and cheese, of course. You don't really see the kielbasa, but some bars you do. But then they're doing spring rolls here. So,
I love them.
talk to me.
I love them. They're really good.
Really?
I love anything with buffalo chicken. The cheese in there, you're getting this mix of flavor. It's so good. The outside is also like super crunchy, soft on the inside, so you're getting that different texture.
Wow.
Melty goodness. I love it. Easiest bar snack ever to order.
Right? And what I find amazing about this is if you don't cook this well, you can mess it up.
Oh yeah.
You
don't want a burnt wonton wrapper on the outside. Like that's not good.
Exactly. And then you have to make sure the filling is cooked, right? So,
Yeah.
unbelievable. All right, Jenna, out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10.
Wow. All right. So we just moved up from 9 to 9.5.
I know. I like want to eat the entire thing.
And here we go, Peter doing math. So I think, Jenna, that's an average score of 9.5, if I'm not mistaken, right? A 9, a 9.5, and a 10? I think he does a 9. That is
Feels right to me.
unbelievable score. Just an unbelievable score. All right, Jenna. This is your first time at the Shepherd and Knucklehead, right? You know, I come down here to watch my Dallas Cowboys play all the time. And Joe, the owner, and Cesar, his manager here, are just, you know, always welcome me with open arms and so on and so forth. Is this spot going to be on your list for you and your girlfriends going forward?
Definitely, especially if you want to go to like happy hour or drinks after work and you come into Hoboken. Like this is the easiest route on the bus coming from the city, which is perfect. I would 100% be here.
Amen. She's exactly right. The Lincoln Tunnel is literally a 10-minute walk from here.
I know, you'd be like a 10-minute bus ride here. So easy after work.
Why wouldn't you come here, right?
I know.
And it's convenience, as Jenna mentioned, and so on and so forth. Well, we really, really appreciate you coming on. We are actually going to be back next week trying some more dishes, so you're not going to want to miss that. Unless you just don't want to come back.
Oh no, I definitely want to come back.
All right.
I'm excited.
All right.
I heard what we're getting.
Exactly. And we, before we go to commercial break, are going to inhale this kielbasa so Josh gets none, right? Exactly.
Yeah, 1000%.
Exactly. Jenna Piemonte, our Places Insider at the Hungry Traveler. Thanks again. Really, really appreciate it. All right, folks. From the Shepherd and Knucklehead, located at 1313 Willow Avenue in the beautiful city of Hoboken, New Jersey, we will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host with the most, Josh Sotomayor Einstein, on this segment of The Pulse, and I'm so glad to be joined not by that bum Biancamano, but by my friend Rachel Hodes, the chair of the Hoboken Democrat Committee. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm excited.
So I'm equally excited to have you here. Everyone out there on the internets and in TV land understands that I come from a conservative Republican point of view. And some of you may even know that I used to be on the Republican State Committee of New Jersey. And we are here to discuss something that, you know, a lot of people in America don't always have things in common with the other side. I mean, they think they don't, but I think we do. More Americans have things in common than they realize.
I would agree.
One of the things that is in stark contrast to the narrative of everyone disagreeing is how both parties, both your party and my party, seem to agree on support for the state of Israel.
Sure.
So I was wondering, what do you think about Israel brings Democrats and Republicans together?
So when I think about the state of Israel, I think of it as the Jewish and democratic state, and that "and" is really important. I think, like America, Israel is a country that is striving for free press, free speech, fair elections, and like America, I think Israel has a lot of work to do to achieve those values, but we have a lot of shared values and a lot of shared work that we're doing together.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at Israel, I think recently it might be the current or the immediate past Supreme Court justice, the head of the Supreme Court of Israel was an Israeli Arab. You have Israeli Arabs in their parliament, which is their legislative body, like our Congress. And you even have Israeli Arabs that volunteer. They're not forced to. They're not drafted like the Jewish Israelis, but you have Israeli Muslims and Christians from the Arab community that have volunteered to serve in the IDF.
And also in national service as well.
What's national service for people that
So
don't know?
national service is another option in case if an individual does not want to be conscripted into the military. It's another option to serve the country for a term if they don't want to do military service.
Oh, that's really, really cool. So everybody out there in TV land knows that on October 7th, Hamas invaded Israel. Over 1,200 Israelis, mostly civilians, were murdered. There was a number of unfortunate sexual assaults and rapes. Also, murder is also unfortunate, just to be clear. And people in our town, in Hoboken and in Hudson County, I got phone calls. I saw a video that there were people in a small caravan of cars driving down Washington Street and other parts of Hudson County on the night of the attack. So before Israel had a chance to respond at all, before Israel took its defensive war into Gaza, when people were being murdered and raped, people were driving down Washington Street yelling, F Israel, F the Jews, waving Palestinian flags. I myself have seen a similar car parade that was a couple weeks afterwards that the police in Hoboken pulled them over because they were driving recklessly, hanging outside of windows. So how do we fight the sort of hate where people will celebrate, they won't be opposed to policy of a foreign government like Israel, but where they'll celebrate the murder of people, Israeli people, Israeli Muslims, Israeli Jews, it doesn't matter. How do we fight against that ignorance and that bigotry?
It's a really tough question and a really tough challenge. I think that we're all facing right now in America is how are we fighting against all types of bigotry and hate? For me, in these moments, I advise everyone, and I try myself, to lean on the alliances that we already have, to turn to our friends, to turn to our partners, to have these difficult conversations, to share what it's like to be Jewish in this moment, or to share what it's like to be feeling unsafe or vulnerable in these moments. It's really easy to have partnerships when things are easy. It's really easy to get together and do a volunteer event or go to a 5K together. It's much harder when something like this happens to be able to be in partnership and to be in conversation. And so I think the best thing we can be doing is leaning into those partnerships, those alliances, talking about it together, trying to move forward together in a shared partnership and a shared vision of a better world that we want to see people feel safe and comfortable and not vulnerable in their communities and across the country.
Couldn't agree more. I've heard a lot from people in Hudson County that just have general questions and they want to know, maybe they're not Jewish, maybe they're not Arab, maybe they're not Republican or Democrat, they're not politically plugged in, but they want to know what is wrong about saying ceasefire now. And what I say to them, we can go into your perspective in a second, but what I say to them is before October 7th, there was a ceasefire. If Hamas wanted to say, hey, we won't send any more rockets into Israel and we won't send several thousand terrorists to attack civilians and murder men, women, and children, then there could have been economic integration and investment in Gaza, and Gaza could have economically exploded the same way that the tiny Gulf states have economically invested in themselves and exploded and in a good way and grown. But Hamas decided that attacking the state of Israel and murdering men, women, and babies was more important than making the lives of their citizens better.
To go back to your original question about how do we I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. Your original point around how do we have these conversations and how do we think about this? I think you have to dig into the complexity and nuance of the situation, right? And to go back to the question around like, why aren't we saying ceasefire now? I think exactly what you laid out. There was a ceasefire on October 6th. There was a ceasefire on October 7th. And so when you say ceasefire now, I think it's actually more important to ask somebody, what do you mean by that? What are you hoping to get out of saying that question? Because you want to understand, are you trying to reduce the amount of violence, reduce the amount of death, make people more safe in their communities? These are shared things that I think people can agree upon. Get rid of terrorism. That's something is a shared thing that people can agree upon. So when you hear these phrases or these statements, it's more important to, again, bring in the complexity and the nuance of the situation and the conversation to actually get into what people are looking for and what they mean. And to go back to how you started this off, I think people are going to agree on much more than they disagree about it. And it's going to help people be able to feel connected to their neighbor, connected to their friend, connected to the person that they're having this conversation with, if it gets beyond just these phrases, but really into the meat of the conversation and the difficulty that people are grappling with right now.
Well, also in that meat, in the center that you're talking about, I can't believe that I forgot to bring this up, but is also I think roughly, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, I think 136 maybe hostages that are still being held by Hamas. And if they wanted to have a ceasefire, one way to start that would be to say, here are the hostages back, or at least here are the living ones, and here are the remains of the ones that we've murdered. And that could be a step in that right direction. But Hamas, just like its supporters around the world, whether it's in Sydney or whether it's in London or whether it was those people that drove through Hoboken and Hudson County, they don't care about their own people. They care about killing people that they disagree with, which in this case happens to be Israel and the Jews. But, you know, for extremists like this of every type, it's just people that disagree with them.
Look, and I think this is part of the difficulty of the conversation, is that there has been so much dehumanizing across the board in this conversation, right? I have heard people say all Palestinians are terrorists and all Jews are genocidal murderers. And the reality is that Hamas is a terrorist organization. Hamas are the ones who perpetrated this. And so I think as we have these conversations, we need to remember that people are people, and we need to bring the humanity back into that conversation. And again, to go back to my earlier point, part of that is complexity and nuance.
Well, Rachel, I know that the topic is not the most, let's say, upbeat, but I'm super happy that you joined us today. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano back in the host chair and back in studio. And today, folks, we have an incredibly special guest. Making his Pulse premiere today is the founder of the amazing Truth Society, Karate, my man Ray Rodriguez. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Having me on, man.
How are you?
I'm good. Getting old, but I'm good.
Well, aren't we all, right, Ray?
Tell me about it, right?
Exactly. So your nonprofit is really amazing because of the work they do with low-income families here in the great city of Hoboken.
Yes.
I was wondering if you can explain to the audience what your nonprofit does.
Well, we've been here now 15 years, working with children that do very poorly in school, and most of all, those that can't afford the average Tiger Showman school. We teach for free. All our programs are free. Besides the karate program, we also have a guitar program, and we just launched homework help. And and so I'm pretty proud of the fact that we're helping these kids to set goals for themselves. And one thing that we always preach to the kids is about setting goals and accomplishing their goals. So far it's a lot of work, but I'm so content with what I'm doing.
That's amazing. It really, really is. And when you say that you do this basically for free, is all of your funding from donations?
All of our funding is from donations. I'm very happy that we have a lot of law enforcement people that back us. One of the main organizations that back us, and I'm pretty sure you guys know about them, is Party with a Purpose. They do the 5K run, and they're amazing because they're always there for us. You know, and other than that, other organizations that help out as well. So we couldn't function without them.
Awesome. And the students in the housing authority that you teach, whether it's guitar lessons, karate. By the way, I was just wondering because it's on your shirt. I know we spoke about this before the segment. Shihan. That basically means teacher or professor or something? Or?
Not professor. It's
Okay.
teacher of teachers.
Wow.
Because in karate you have sensei, which is teacher, and Shihan, which is teacher of teachers. I have plenty of senseis, but I think, you know, at this in my life now where I'm 59.
Oh, wow.
And I outdo all my students. But I think at this point I'm looking for someone to pass the torch. I would like to retire and spend more time with my family, but I established something really great in Hoboken, and for it to flourish, we need those individual kids that want to do something more with themselves, and I think I'll find them sooner or later.
And right, you literally take, you know, these children off the streets basically and teach them essential life skills, whether that's self-defense or music and so on and so forth. And you've been doing this 15 years now, you told me. And you come from Manhattan to do this. No wonder why you want to retire. No, but I mean, you know, how fulfilling is this for you to, you know, really teach the most vulnerable population into being, you know, wonderful adults?
Well, this is where it gets a little sad because in 2009, I lost my 13-year-old, my little girl, my firstborn.
Sorry for that.
To diabetes. And I remember before she passed, she told me, "Daddy, what can you do for kids like me?" And I thought about it. I said, well, if we're going to do this, then you have to be a person that can speak to other kids and tell them about what you're going through. And to make a long story short, I established the once a year, we give all the proceeds to the ADA, the American Diabetes Association, and my daughter's name, Hope Rodriguez. But I remember telling her about this and that she would have to speak to other kids just like her. So I established the Super Karate Show for diabetes to find a cure. And we've been doing this now every year. Now I would say it's about 10 years that we've been doing it. Since COVID, we haven't gotten back to that, but we will. It was established here in Hoboken, where I bring a lot of other martial artists to come down and perform for the general public. And last time we raised about $3,000, and we give them a check every time that they come down. My vice president, Carmelo Garcia, is one of those amazing people that spearhead this with me every year. We'll get back to that soon. But I'm happy that it's all happening here in Hoboken with, you know, and your support, brother. It goes without saying, because I mean, without me being here, who would know?
Well, it's the least we can do, and you know, and our prayers are with you for the loss of your daughter, of course. Ray, and since, as you mentioned, what I find amazing about you is you literally are taking donations to run these programs for the most vulnerable students. And what do? You're giving it back to a diabetes society and so on and so forth. So what you take is what you give. And that is so, so important and a life lesson for, I'm sure, your students. You do have an event coming up. I believe it's Friday, February 23rd.
Yes.
Is your annual fundraiser for your programs.
It is the first of its kind.
First of its kind. So it's the first one ever. Yeah. And I just wanted to give you a chance to explain to the audience, what you're doing that night, who you're honoring, and what you're hoping to accomplish.
15 years, as I said before, 15 years that I've been being able to provide services to Hoboken. And for 15 years, those people that have been supporting Amazing Truth Society Karate, it is my turn to say thank you. This is the way I'm going to do it every year for those amazing people that live here. I don't live here. I live in Manhattan. I commute here every day. And but those people that have been supporting us for many years, without a complaint, we're going to acknowledge all of them. You got Emily Jabor, you got amazing people out here that live out here, Carmelo Garcia, his wife, Margarita, all these amazing people coming together at one dinner. And I have over 51 people getting nominated and getting awards. So it's time for something like this to happen in Hoboken. And I hope to do it bigger and bigger every other year. So this is just one of many to come.
And it's on Friday, February 23rd at the old Bow Tie Cinemas, which is now owned by Hoboken Grace, correct?
Yes.
And I know that is it open to the public, or can people make a donation?
They can make a donation, but it's not open to the public. It's if you want to give a donation, we would definitely take donations. You can donate to amazingtruthsociety.org. If you go onto our website, you get you can either go through a Zelle, I think what's the other one called? Venmo and PayPal. So you can donate that way. Hopefully, those people that do donate, I will save your name. I will keep your name in a file, and I'll definitely try to remember you. So the following year, it's about what you give, not how much you give. So it doesn't matter if you give a dollar. The point is that where it goes to is these kids. For when I first started in Hoboken, I was working in 2008 in the Boys Club, and on Jefferson Street, and we had over 70 something kids. Now, back then, it wasn't that easy because everything was coming out of pocket. Everything. I mean, every penny, from uniforms to, and now it's different. We're talking about now 10 years down the line, and I no longer have to come out of pocket for anything. But with your donation, we keep helping these kids to look to a better future. I can't do it by myself, so it's up to the general public to come out and, this is your community. As much as it is, I consider this my community too, because I work for you and I work here. And
well, on that note, we are out of time, Ray. Thank you so much.
Great,
the
man.
founder of I said I was going to say American, Amazing Truth Society Karate. Thank you for all your hard
Brother,
work.
thank you so
I
much,
really
man,
appreciate
for having me on.
Ray Rodriguez. And you can come on anytime and do any karate or jiu-jitsu moves on our resident political analyst, Josh Sotomayor Einstein. Absolutely. You have my permission to do that. Thanks again.
Hold on, let me give you something. I'm sorry.
I love getting gifts on air. Everybody knows this.
Man, before I forget, brother.
And Target is not sponsoring us, but that's okay.
No.
Oh, this is very cool.
Sponsoring.
Oh, this is awesome.
Isn't that nice?
Well,
It gets better.
Oh, it gets better. Oh my God.
These are the hoodies we give for free to the kids.
Oh, that is awesome.
Just when winter's coming around, that's yours, my brother.
Oh, I love this. Oh my God. Is this Amazing Truth Society in what language is this?
This is in Chinese. This is
okay.
Jing Chi Fui. In translation is Amazing Truth Society.
That's awesome.
So
Thanks again, and thank you for the
Thank you.
gifts. I
Thank you,
love
brother.
getting this.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.